Got problems, but not all problems are the same. There are some problems you actually want to have because they're the indicator of a good life. When you take things for granted, you forget the good things that life has offered you. Well, number 1, the problem of making your kids rich. If you wonder how to create a legacy for your kids, that means you believe you're capable of it and there's a way to do it. You trust yourself and your ability to create value, and you want your future generations to enjoy it too. Think about how many people don't even consider starting a family because they don't see themselves ever escaping the rat race. That's a problem you don't want to have, but if you find yourself ever wondering how you can make your family's life better, that means you got to a point where you feel confident you can take care of yourself, and now it's time to take care of those closest to you. There is great satisfaction when you realize you can afford to have this problem. Number 2, the problem of deciding which hobby to pursue. Life sucked the joy out of so many people to the point where all they do is work, eat, and sleep. Even if they have time to do something for themselves, they have no energy for it. But if you find yourself looking for hobbies or passion to pursue, that means there is creativity in you that wants to break free. If you don't dread your days, you don't hate Mondays, you don't live only for the weekend, you do your thing, you take care of business, and you also have time and energy to feed your soul, think about all the people you know who drown themselves in everyday life without taking any time for themselves. These are the types of people who share quotes like, "Life can't all be about going to work and
choose better
and paying taxes." Well, yeah, it isn't. No one said it was, so why are you living like this? Number 3, the problem of how to spend your free time in a meaningful way. This is a great problem to have because of 2 reasons. 1, you're good at managing your time and priorities that leaves you with plenty of time to pursue other interests. And 2, you want to give value to your time even when no one asks you to. When people only manage to get a fraction of their free time, they tend to go all in. Those are the people who only live for the weekends. They get wasted at every party and generally do everything a little bit too extra, like that's the only free day they have for the whole year. They almost feel a pressure to have fun. But not you. You know you can do both, and the only problem you have to figure out is how to spend your free time in a way that actually makes you feel good. You take your time, you're not in a hurry. You can afford to allow life to unravel itself randomly if you want it to, or to nudge it in a different direction. That's because you're in full control of your time and nobody can force you to do anything you don't want to do. Number 4, the problem of deciding how to give back. You got to a point in your life where the biggest satisfaction you can have is making life better for other people. You took care of yourself. You took care of your family. You got everything you need. Now the only thing left to do is to enjoy the life you've built for yourself and help others build theirs. And you want to actually have an impact. It's not something you want to do for the sake of doing it. You know the modern world is made by people for people, and you want to be a part of that. So you're looking for ways to leverage your skills to do it. And that's a great problem to have. Number 5, the problem of maintaining meaningful relationships. You got to a point in your life where you realized good relationships, they don't just magically happen. They have to be nurtured and maintained. You need to be there for people. They need to feel like they can trust you and you can trust them. And that requires time and effort. When you ask yourself how to maintain a meaningful relationship, it makes you a better friend and a better human being in general. Other people who outgrew their ego can afford to have this kind of problem, but so many others only think of themselves and can never put anyone else above their needs if the situation calls for it. You need a lot of character to be able to do that. Number 6. The problem of how to invest in your education. You are a lifetime learner. You know that education didn't stop in school, and you always wonder how to future-proof your mind. And you also want quality education and meaningful knowledge that can be applied in your own life. You've got a budget for it. You always look for ways to make your education an asset, not a liability. Some people have the problem of not having a degree. Others have the problem of choosing what degree to get next. And, okay, by degree, we mean proficiency in a given topic, not a pricey piece of paper. Number 7, the problem of reinventing yourself. So many people are at their version 1.0. They never got past that. They didn't receive any updates. Their mind is old tech. Their point of view is outdated and the knowledge is superficial. And the worst part is, they don't even know that. They never had the problem of reinventing themselves. If version 1.0 only got them to a certain point in life, well, it is what it is. But some people have this problem. They question what kind of person they need to become if they're to have a chance at winning. They don't let others decide for them. They shape their own future, and if version 1.0 is outdated, then that's a problem and they immediately start updating everything. Number 8, the problem of balancing self-interest with social responsibility. This is a problem that requires a deeper sense of awareness. Pursuing your self-interest is expected because if you don't make your own life better, someone else will hire you to make theirs better instead. But in this pursuit of self-interest, sacrifices need to be made. Maybe you need to be unavailable for a couple of weeks. Maybe you need to ignore certain aspects of your life to make others better. It's all a balance. You can't be one-sided here. And how to manage this balance in a good and healthy way is a problem only people who are self-aware can even see. Usually it takes years and years of sacrifice, achievement, and perseverance to make you realize you neglected parts of your life that were important too. So if you've ever had the problem of having to balance these things, then you're in a good spot. But look, we can't tell you how to solve that one. It's something you need to figure out all on your own. Number 9, the problem of accepting your own limitations. Now, this means you gave it your best. You pushed beyond what you thought was possible, and you finally found what your limits are. Accepting your own limits and figuring out a way to bypass them is a problem not many people get to deal with. And that's simply because people just don't push themselves to be better. They're satisfied with whatever version of themselves materialized in their 20s and they leave it at that. They think, it's just who I am, when in reality, it's just who they are when they don't put any effort into it. But when you come to terms with seeing and accepting your own limitations, you're already at version 3.5 of you. You're a pro at being you, and now it's time to find some good add-ons. Number 10, the problem of finding your own moral compass. The vast majority of people out there have a borrowed moral compass. They adopt the opinions of other people without ever thinking for themselves. They're shallow and superficial, and their opinion doesn't matter because they simply don't have one. They only regurgitate what somebody else has said. But when you want to be your own person, in charge of your own actions and behaviors, you're faced with the problem of finding your own moral compass. And it's even harder today because you're bombarded with information you're supposed to agree with without even questioning it. But you want to own yourself, so you dig deep and you find different points of view. You try to see the world from different angles, and slowly you start developing your own set of core values. If you currently find yourself facing this problem, just know you're on the right path of finding what's actually important to you. And lastly, we've got a bonus for you for sticking with us until the end. Number 11, the problem of finding your place in the world. Now, this is a really good problem to have because it talks a lot about your character. You want to have an impact. You want to make something of value. So you're searching for a place where these two things can happen. When people can't find their place in the world, they feel lost. But in reality, the lost ones are the people who stopped searching.